Hey guys, it's Robbie with United by Trucks, and today we're taking a look at AZ Pro Performance's LS fuel line kit made up of Holley components. We're going to give you a review and install of this kit, so follow me, let's go check it out. Alright guys, so we got the AZ Pro Performance LS fuel line kit. We're going to open this up, take a look at what's inside real quick. Then we're going to install it on our two-wheel drive square body LS project that we've been working on. So there's the mounting brackets for what I believe is in this box, which is Holley's regulator filter setup. Basically you come in out of your tank, straight up to your fuel rail, and then out of the top as a return back to the tank. So pretty slick setup. Give you these mounting brackets to mount it to the side of the frame, so we're gonna be doing that here in just a second. So that's a really, really cool setup from Holley. It's important to note that this replaces your Corvette style regulator that a lot of us guys run on LS's. So this is a really unique thing that Holley's doing, and obviously a much better looking and better crafted piece. So really quickly, I'm gonna give you the part number on this Holley filter regulator. So the part number is 12875 with 3/8 pipe thread or 12876 with AN thread. It comes with full installation instructions, everything that's in the kit, even gives you a little diagram of how all of this is supposed to flow. In addition to the Holley regulator, the mounting brackets, you get all the AN hardware to plumb the system. You got all the braided lines that go along with it. EFI fitting from Russell, some fuel line clamps. And thanks to Travis at AZ Pro, he threw a ton of stickers in here. So if you're looking for this particular kit, like I said, be sure to reach out to Travis over at AZ Pro Performance. You can find him at azproperformance.com. So as we get started, you may see 4 hands instead of 2, and that's because I've got Ron Folks here who works with us on United by Trucks. So he's gonna help us get this fuel system installed from AZ Pro and Holley. So we've begun to go ahead and put fittings in the fuel regulator and filter. So we've got the 90 here, and then we've got the other adapters to AN here. I'll show you a little bit about how we're gonna mount this on the side of the frame here in just a minute, but we've got a Boyd Welding tank here that obviously has an in-tank pump. This is an Aeromotive Stealth 340, and it really doesn't matter what type of tank you have or what kind of pump you have, but in this instance, in this application, it matters that you do have an in-tank pump. So we're running an in-tank pump with this particular Boyd setup. So we're gonna run a line directly out of this fuel pump into the end of the Holley fuel filter regulator. This end will come out and go straight up to the fuel rail on the motor. And then this top fitting here will come back into the tank. This is a return line, so this is a returnless system at the fuel rail, but this is a return line that will come out of the regulator filter and back into the tank. So essentially what you're gonna see is line coming directly out of the in-tank pump into the regulator filter. This line will then go all the way up to the fuel rail, and this line will come right back to the tank. So in the AZ Pro Performance LS fuel line kit, Holley provides you fittings for both the return and the pressure side. So we've got this fitting here that has a little O-ring, so you simply just screw it right into the top of the pump. And because we're gonna be running our line up this side of the frame rail, we're just gonna, obviously we'll tighten this down, but we're gonna orientate the fitting to point directly over to the frame rail. And then we're gonna take and install the return line fitting. And we're gonna tighten it down and get it into a similar orientation as well. For the sake of this, I'm just gonna turn it about there. So we'll go back and tighten that down. Since we've got all the fittings in the inlet and return and outlet part of the filter regulator, we're gonna go ahead and get this mounted on the side of the frame rail. So we'll show you that, and then we're gonna make up some lines and connect all this. So hang tight, and we're gonna get this connected to the side of the frame rail. So Ron is about to drill holes in the frame. We're mid-build on this two-wheel drive square body Blazer. So we've got our fittings in, we've got our mounting straps on, and Ron's got us a place picked out where we're gonna mount this thing on the side of the frame. So we're gonna drill a couple of holes real quick and mount this thing up, and then show you how to make a line, and then come back and show you how it all ties together. Okay, so you can see we've got the Holley regulator filter mounted to the frame rail. The reason that we put it in this particular spot on the frame rail is, one, in consideration of the length of hose that we have, and additionally, we put it here because in this particular build, we're bagged, we've got all sorts of suspension components in the way near the tank. So we put this in a place where it's not in the way of any moving parts, and it's also accessible from right under the vehicle. So that's the reason we chose this spot, and I recommend that you consider that as well when you're going to install this type of kit. We've got our line cut where we want it. We've got the Earl's fitting here. So basically we're just gonna take it apart. That end up to about the point where it meets the threads. So we've got the hose here with the fitting on the end. The hose is slid up to about the threads down inside this particular fitting. So now we're gonna take the ferrule and get it placed inside without pulling on the part you just slipped over the hose. And get that started, which I believe it is. So you would typically have some AN wrenches for this particular part of the line making. However, we just moved into a new shop and don't have them, so we're using just standard wrenches to get this done. And continue to thread it on until it seats inside the fitting. So the AN wrenches obviously help you keep from scratching up your fittings, but we're gonna repeat this process for the rest of the lines, and we'll show you what those look like as we get them made up. So first things first is we're gonna take this actual fitting here and attach it to the fuel rail. So we're gonna start at the motor and work our way back. So this is a Russell 644123, and this will attach to the fuel rail directly to the 6AN fitting. We'll run our line directly from here back to the Holley fuel regulator. So let me grab this line. All right, TTR, I'm gonna hand that to you if you don't mind screwing that on the fitting, and then we're gonna start getting our links dialed in. We're taking that line that we just made up with the 6AN fitting and attaching it to our fuel rail fitting. We've now got the fuel line running off the fuel rail, and it's running back toward the fuel regulator, about where Ron's left hand is. So we're gonna cut this line to length, make up the same 6AN fitting, and attach it to the fuel regulator, and then repeat that process back to the tank. So we're just giving you a little bit of an idea as to what the fuel line routing looks like from the fuel rail back to the regulator filter. So we've got some of those fuel hose clamps that will attach to the frame probably at a later date, but those are provided so that you can mount the fuel line, you know, lower on the frame rail or higher on the frame rail depending on what else you've got running up the frame rail. Just wanted to give you a little bit of an idea as to what that fuel line looks like up from the Holley regulator filter to the fuel rail. As you can tell, we've gotten our lines run. This is for the delivery side, so this runs in to the Holley fuel regulator filter, and this is for the return line. So this is that top fitting, that 90-degree fitting that runs back toward the tank. So that's what we're hooking up now. So at this point, we've got the fuel lines run to the filter regulator provided by Holley, and then a line from that filter regulator up to the fuel rail on the LS motor. So depending on your specific application, you want to run power to the pump, ground the pump obviously, and then run power to your sending unit. And at this point, you've got a really, really reliable fuel system. You've got something that's easily serviceable, particularly when you've got the Holley filter regulator down on the frame where we've got it mounted so we can quickly get to it. And these AN fittings, if you do have a leak, are easy to deal with, and the braided hose is easy to deal with too, so you can always go back and make adjustments as necessary. So at this time, that'll wrap up the AZ Pro Performance LS Fuel Line Kit install. Obviously, you saw the Holley provided components here. We've got their inline regulator and filter. We've got a combination of Earls and Russell fittings, as well as the braided hose. So this makes for a really bulletproof setup when you're trying to modify your fuel system to adapt to an LS motor. So appreciate you guys tuning in. If you would like to find more information on this particular LS Fuel Line Kit, please visit azproperformance.com.